Hello students. In this class, I'll be teaching you about tracing of curves. So you already know how to find tangent and normal, maxima, minima, concavity and convexity of a curve. Also points of inflection, asymptotes and singular points of a curve. So using these concepts and finding out all these things, we'll be drawing or tracing the curve. So there is a procedure which you have to follow in tracing. The first thing is the Cartesian equations. So procedure is almost the same for both Cartesian as well as polar equations. So first I'll be teaching you about the procedure for tracing the Cartesian equations. The first you have to know is the symmetry. If the equation contains only even powers of y, then the curve is symmetrical about x-axis. So if you have an example, keep this example in mind to know the symmetry. So if you have y square is equal to 4ax, it is a parabola which you know it's a right parabola, and this is symmetrical about the x-axis. So it is, if you have even powers of y, it is symmetrical about x-axis. And if the equation has only even powers of x, then the curve is symmetrical about y-axis. The third one is if you interchange x and y and the equation remains the same, then the equation will be symmetrical about the line y is equal to x. Y is equal to x is a line passing through the origin, and so about this line, the equation will be symmetrical. So this is the example. If the curve is symmetric, if the curve is symmetrical in the opposite quadrants, if on interchanging x and y to minus x and minus y, the equation remains the same. So you're replacing x by minus x and y by minus y. So you have minus y is equal to minus x cube. So minus gets cancelled, you have the same equation. So if in that case, the curve will be symmetrical in the opposite quadrants. So this is how you find the symmetry. Next thing is curve passing through the origin. So if a curve passes through the origin, then the equation does not contain any constant term. So these are the examples. So these are the curves passes. These curves passes through the origin because it does not have a constant. Next is the tangents at the origin. So to find out the equation of the tangents at the origin, you have to equate the lowest degree terms in the equation to 0. We have already done these kind of problems. If suppose if you have to find the tangent at some other point other than the origin, then you know that you have to shift the origin and then find the equation of the tangent by equating the lowest degree terms in the equation to 0. And also you can find out what is the nature of the point. This we have already done, whether it's to find whether it is a node, cusp or an isolated point. The third one is to find the points of intersection with the axis. So to find this, what we do is we put y is equal to 0. So if we put y is equal to 0, we get a point on the x-axis, because any point on the x-axis is of the form x comma 0. And if suppose you put x is equal to 0 in the equation, you get a point on the y-axis. That is how you find out point of intersection with the axes. Next, region in which the curve does not lie is if the value of y is imaginary for certain value of x, then the curve does not exist for such value. Say for example, you have y square is equal to 4x. If x is less than 0, then y becomes an imaginary number. So we can say that the curve does not lie in those points. So when does x be less than 0 for what, which quadrants? Here we are using the Cartesian equation, so we are doing Cartesian coordinates. So you have 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, x is positive, second quadrant x is negative, third quadrant is also x is negative. So second and the third quadrant, y will be imaginary. So we can say that the curve does not lie in the second and the third quadrant by looking into this equation of the curve. So this is very important. You need to check in which region does the curve not lie. Next is increasing or decreasing behavior. If dy by dx is greater than 0, then the curve is increasing, and if dy by dx is less than 0, then the curve is decreasing at a particular point, or you can check it with the region. In that region, Now dy by dx is nothing but the slope of the curve. If the slope is positive, then the curve is increasing. If the slope is negative, then the curve will be decreasing. Similarly, if d square y by dx square is less than or equal to 0 for all x in an interval, then the function is concave. And if d square y by dx square is greater than or equal to 0 for all x in an interval, then the function is convex. So using these, we can find out how the curve behaves in a particular region. Next, to know the tangents parallel to the axes. If the tangents are parallel to the axis, then the slopes will be 0. So if you find if you have a tangent parallel to the x-axis, then the slope of the tangent will be 0. So slope is 0 means that is nothing but dy by dx is equal to 0. Or if you have a tangent parallel to y-axis, then dx by dy will be equal to 0. So if you put dy by dx is equal to 0 and you find out at which point, that at that point the tangent will be parallel to the x-axis. And if dx by dy is equal to 0 at a particular point, then at that point the tangent will be parallel to y-axis. And asymptotes, we have already discussed how to find the asymptotes, whether it is asymptotes parallel to the coordinate axis or the oblique asymptotes. So knowing all these seven proper conditions, we can trace the curve. These are not the only 7 conditions. There may be other things also, but these are the main, which since you have already know these 7 things, you can easily trace the following curves. So let us look at the first curve. Trace the curve asteroid, because this is a very familiar curve and we have already done many problems based on asteroid. So this is the first problem I'm teaching you, how to trace the curve asteroid. So the equation can be written in this form. It is x power 1 by 3 whole square plus y power 1 by 3 whole square is equal to a power 1 by 3 the whole square. Now the curve is symmetrical about both the coordinate axes, because when you replace x and y, you have the, as the equation contains only even powers of x and y. So it contains only even powers of x and y. And also when you interchange x and y also, the equation remains the same. So it is symmetrical about the line y is equal to x also. So it is also, so the curve is symmetrical about both the coordinate axes, as the equation contains only even powers of x and y. Now this has a constant term. So since it has a constant term, the curve does not passes through the origin. Now to find points of intersection with the axes, the third one, we need to put y is equal to 0. So when you put y is equal to 0, you get x to the power 2 by 3 is equal to a power 2 by 3. Now you cube on both the sides, so you get x square is equal to a square. So this implies x is equal to plus or minus a. So the curve cuts x-axis at 2 points, a comma 0 and minus a comma 0. Then to find a point on the y-axis, put x is equal to 0. We get under the same argument, we get y is equal to plus or minus a. Therefore, the curve cuts y-axis at 0 comma a and 0 comma minus a. Now to find the region, we solve the equation for y. So when we solve the equation for y, we get it like this. So y is equal to square root of a power 2 by 3 minus x to the power 2 by 3 whole cube. So if suppose x is greater than a, then this becomes a negative value. Since it becomes a negative value, whole cube is again a negative value, so y becomes imaginary. And also if x is less than minus a, if x is less than minus a, uh, again this becomes a negative quantity, because when you substitute x is equal to minus a, it has a minus a whole square, it becomes plus a only, less than minus a. So still this value is a negative value, so y is imaginary. So for x greater than a or x less than minus a, so y is imaginary. So the curve does not lie beyond x is equal to plus or minus a, and y is equal to plus or minus a in this case. Now when we look at dy by dx, we get minus y power 1 by 3 by x power 1 by 3. So if suppose dy by dx is equal to 0, then y is equal to 0, because you have dy by dx is nothing but y power 1 by 3 by x power 1 by 3. You equate it to 0, you'll get y is equal to 0. That means y is equal to 0 is the equation of x-axis. So x-axis is a tangent to the curve at a comma 0 and minus a comma 0. Also dx by dy is equal to 0 means x is equal to 0. This implies y-axis is a tangent to the curve at 0 comma a and 0 comma minus a. Also, there are no asymptotes to the curve because you cannot equal because highest power, the power of x is nothing but 2 by 3. You can and the coefficient is 1, so there are no asymptotes parallel to the coordinate axis. So there are no asymptotes to the curve because it is bounded between a and minus a. That is what it says. So since it does not go to infinity, any curve does not go to infinity, so we don't have asymptotes. Asymptotes are, we find out asymptotes for the curve only when the curve approaches infinity. So looking into all these 7 conditions, we can have an observation of the curve asteroid to be in this form. So it is between minus a and plus a, and it is symmetrical about the coordinate axis, also about the line y is equal to x, and it has a tangent at the curve a comma 0. At this point, this is a tangent, and also at this point the x-axis is a tangent. At this point 0 comma a, the y-axis is the tangent. So this is how asteroid looks like. Asymptotes, and also you can follow the same procedure to trace other Cartesian curves. Next is asymptotes. Okay, before knowing how to trace the polar curves, let us look at how to find out asymptotes for polar curves. So the working rule is, this is the procedure which you have to follow. Step 1, put the equation of the curve in the form 1 by r is equal to f of theta. Then solve for f of theta. You substitute f of theta is equal to 0. Find out what is the value for theta. So theta is equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 and so on. Next is find f dash of theta, and the value of f dash of theta at theta is equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 and so on. The equation of the asymptotes corresponding to the root theta is equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 are given by r sine theta minus alpha 1 is equal to 1 by f dash of alpha 1 r and so on. So if you have 1 by f dash of alpha 1 is infinite for any value of theta, then the curve has no asymptotes corresponding to the value of theta. So first you write it in this form, 1 by r is equal to f of theta. Then you put f of theta is equal to 0, find the value of theta. Then find f dash of theta and the value of f dash of theta at these points. Then you substitute in these equations, you will get the asymptotes. Now let us look at one problem based on this. Find the asymptote of the curve r theta is equal to a. So the equation of the curve can be written as, this can be written as 1 by r is equal to theta by a. That is how we need to find. We need to write it in the form of 1 by r is equal to f of theta. Now you substitute f of theta is equal to 0. So f of theta is nothing but theta by a. Now substitute it as a 0, you will get it as theta by a is equal to 0 or theta is equal to 0. So theta is equal to 0 means alpha is equal to 0. The values of theta you will assign it as alpha. Now what is f dash of theta? Also f dash of theta is nothing but you're differentiating with respect to theta. So that is nothing but 1 by a because 1 by a is a constant. Now f dash of alpha is nothing but 1 by a itself because alpha is 0 and you don't have an alpha theta term here. So f dash of alpha is equal to 1 by a. So the equation of the asymptote is r sine theta minus alpha, that is equal to 1 by f dash of alpha, that is nothing but r sine theta is equal to a. So this is the equation of the asymptote for this curve r theta is equal to a. So this is a procedure for all the problems when you have a polar curve. Now let us look at the procedure for tracing polar curves. Any polar curve is given in the form of r is equal to f of theta or f of r comma theta is equal to 0. Even in this case, you need to find out what is the symmetry. So symmetrical about the initial line means that is nothing but the x-axis which we consider. So if the equation of the curve remains unaltered by changing theta to minus theta, the curve is symmetrical about the initial line. Say for example, r is equal to a into 1 minus cos theta. You replace theta by minus theta. Cos of minus theta is cos theta itself. So the equation remains the same. So you can say that this curve is symmetrical about the initial line. Next, symmetrical about a line perpendicular to initial line and passing through pole. So equation of the curve remains unaltered if you replace theta by pi minus theta. Say for example, r is equal to a sine theta. You replace theta by pi minus theta. Sine of pi minus theta is sine theta itself. So this curve is symmetrical about the line perpendicular to the initial line. That is nothing but the y-axis in the Cartesian system. Next, symmetrical about the pole or the origin. So if the equation of the curve remains unchanged, if r is changed to minus r, then the equation is symmetrical about the pole or the origin. That means it is of this form, that is it is symmetrical about the line y is equal to x type in Cartesian form. Next, what you have to do is you have to prepare a table for values of theta and corresponding values of r. Substitute values of theta and find out what are the values for r. You will have a tabular column and you can see that from where for which points does the curve passes through. Next is the curve. If the suppose the curve passes through the pole, it passes through the pole only if r is equal to 0 for some particular value of theta. So at some particular value, if r is 0, then you say that the curve passes through the pole. Then the line theta is equal to alpha is a tangent to the curve at the pole. So you have theta is equal to alpha is a tangent to the curve at the pole. Now, if for a certain value of theta, r square is negative, then the curve does not lie for those values of theta. Because if r square is negative, then r, we cannot find a value for r. It is the radius vector becomes imaginary. So for those values, the curve does not lie. Next is, you need to find out what is tan phi. Tan phi is nothing but r d theta by dr. This will denote the direction of tangent. Phi is nothing but the angle made by the tangent with the initial line. So this gives the direction of the tangent, whether it forms an acute or an obtuse angle with the initial line. So we can know how the curve is depending on the value of phi. Next is the asymptotes. This asymptotes we've already discussed how to find the asymptotes. So also looking at the asymptotes, we can trace the curve. Now let us look at the first curve. Trace the curve cardioid. This is a very in many problems we have already used this cardioid. So this graph is very familiar to you. So let us trace this curve. You have r is equal to a into 1 plus cos theta, where theta lies between 0 and 2 pi, and we are taking that a is a positive value. So the first is you need to find the symmetry. So to find the symmetry, you replace theta to minus theta. So when you do that, cos of minus theta is plus cos theta itself. So the equation of the curve is not altered. Therefore, we can say that the curve is symmetrical about the initial line. Now we draw the table for theta and r. So at the point 0, if theta is 0, you have r is equal to 2a because cos 0 is 1. And at pi by 3, if you substitute cos pi by 3, cos pi by 3 is half. 1 plus half is 3 by 2, 3 by 2 a. Next at pi by 2, cos pi by 2 is 0, so you have r is equal to a, and at 2 pi by 3 it is half a, and at pi, cos pi is minus 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0, so therefore you have r is equal to 0. So between 0 to pi, we have r taking the values from 0 to 2a, and these are always positive. So when theta is equal to 0, r is 2a, and when r is equal to 0, when theta is equal to pi, you have r is equal to 0. So we have, since r is equal to 0 at theta is equal to pi, we have a curve which passes through the pole at which the tangent is the line theta is equal to pi. Now we'll find out what is tan phi. So tan phi is equal to r d theta by dr. This is nothing but we substitute what is r and d theta by dr. That is differentiate r with respect to theta and then take the reciprocal. After solving this, you will get it as minus cot theta by 2 because you're using the half angle formula. 1 plus cos theta is 2 cos square theta by 2 and sin theta is 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2. Simplify, you will get it as minus cot theta by 2. That can be written as tan of pi by 2 plus theta by 2. So we have tan phi is equal to tan pi by 2 plus theta by 2. But we are finding out at the point theta is equal to 0. So at theta is equal to 0, we have phi is equal to pi by 2. Therefore, at the point we have the curve, the tangent is perpendicular to the radius vector. So at theta is equal to 0, the tangent is perpendicular to the radius vector. And also we have mod cos theta is less than or equal to 1. Since mod cos theta is less than or equal to 1, when you take the modulus here, you have when you take the modulus here, you get mod a mod r less than or equal to mod a into mod 1 plus mod cos theta because you're using the triangular rule here. So when you use the triangular rule, you get mod of a plus b is less than or equal to mod a plus mod b. That rule you're applying and you will get it as mod a less than or equal to mod r less than or equal to mod a into mod 1 plus mod cos theta. Since mod cos theta is less than or equal to 1, you have 1 plus 1 which is equal to 2. So r will be less than or equal to 2a. So thus no portion of the curve lie to the right side of the tangent at 2a comma 0. After 2a comma 0, there will be no portion of the curve. Now the curve has no asymptotes as r can never be infinite. So when do we have asymptotes? Asymptotes are, you get an asymptote only if the curve tends to infinity. But you know that cos theta is always between plus or minus 1 and plus 1. So this is a value within a certain limit itself. So since this r cannot tend to infinity, so we don't have asymptotes for this curve. Now when you find what is dr by d theta, you have minus a sine theta for 0 less than theta less than pi. So we have dr by the radius vector remains positive and decreases from 2a to 0 in this region. So when you look at the table here for 0 to between 0 and pi, the radius vector remains positive and decreases from, you can here see here, it decreases from 2a to 0 in this region. Again for pi, between pi and 2 pi, dr by d theta is positive because sine is negative in the region between pi and 2 pi, that is the third and the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So dr by d theta is positive and so it increases from 0 to 2a. So from the above observation, the shape of the cardioid will be of this form. So you have from at theta is equal to 0, you have a tangent of at the point at this point 2a comma 0, tangent is perpendicular to the initial line and it ranges from 0 to pi. From 0 to pi, it travels from a to 2a, the values. And and we also have that at theta is equal, when theta is equal to 0, r will be equal to 2a. This is a distance. When theta is equal to 0, r will be equal to 2a. So knowing these observations, this is how the shape of the cardioid looks. Similarly, you can trace other polar curves as well, looking into these observations. Thank you.